Inokatsu 2009 M4A1 GBBR. This has RA Tech internals. There's the engraving on the outer barrel, steel flash hider. This is a real steel, well it's a Knight's Armament Company Ford grip. It's about $20, so doesn't matter if it's real or fake, it's cheap. GMP replica PEC 2 box. It's a functioning laser box. This is a replica ACOG Classic Army rear KAC flip-up sights. And let's look in front. There you go. 2009 edition. So, what I have done to this gun so far. This gun sports a real, hold on, oh, here's my 2011, which I will be comparing in a few moments. This gun sports a real forward assist right there. That's a real one. It's a BCM forward assist. And by default, Inokatsu's forward assist does not work. So I replaced this, shaved it down, and everything's great and gravy. So just a quick little test or a little show. Let me show you that this forward assist actually works. The way you can tell is you pull it up, push it down, and push the bolt carrier in, and you could hear all the ratchets, just like that. Well, anyways, this needs to come out. That is a 2010 Inokatsu Super Bolt. You could tell by the adapter in the back. The nozzle, however, did crack, so I replaced it with an iron airsoft nozzle. Okay. Yep. Steel charging handle. Comes factory like that. And I've also replaced, if you could see, that gas tube right there. That's a real steel gas tube as well too. So there goes that. And here are the internals. RA Tech steel hammer. This is just all steel, internal steel trigger group. RA Tech bolt catch assembly, which works very well. And the creme of the crop, RA Tech hop-up assembly as well too. So it's much easier to adjust a hop-up compared to a factory Inokatsu. Okay. And another thing I've done with this gun is that I have tightened the upper receiver. When I first got this gun, the upper receiver, especially with the handguard, would kind of move a little bit. It will wobble, actually. There would be a slight little wobble. But I tightened it to the point that I actually timed it with the snap ring, or the snap hole, or I forgot what you call it, so that it aligned with the gas tube. hence I had to buy a real one because the other one kind of just bent. But anyway, so I got a real gas tube from gunbroker.com, and now it's perfectly solid. No movement, no wobbles whatsoever. Of course, the receiver does not wobble as well. This is a classic Army sling mount in front, side sling mount. And pretty much everything else in this gun is factory. Okay, so now, how does this compare to the 2011? Well, the 2011, right away, let me flip this over. So this is a 2011 right there. Well, of course, when I first got it, no receiver wobble whatsoever. The upper, the handguards are completely solid, as what I've done with this one, but I had to actually manually labor that thing. I shouldn't say manual labor, but I should say that I had to adjust it so that it won't move. If you look at it, I don't know if you could tell on this camera, but the finish is very, very similar. The 2011 is a little bit, I should say, if there's such a word, flatter in color. Definitely one of the big differences is the pistol grips. This one is slightly different than the color of the receiver in the 2011, and the 2009 is more similar. This one's darker, and it's a little bit smoother in texture, not by much than this one that's flatter. It could be because it's newer, but I doubt that. Another thing that is different is that in the 2009, the upper and lower receivers has a thin line going across. Well, I mean, they all have a thin line, of course, because it separates the two receivers, but this one is much more solid compared to 2011. If you look really hard, I won't say even really hard, but there's the gap between the receivers is actually bigger. You could actually see the hammer group inside. So that's different. The selector is also different too. In the 2011, this selector is actually bigger. It has a bigger girth in comparison to the 2009. So the 2009 selector will go into the 2011 lower receiver, but the 2011 selector will not go into the 2009 receiver. Thus, says that the upper and lower compatibility are, well, it's incompatible. I've tried it already. You cannot put the 2009 upper receiver onto the 2011 upper receiver, vice versa either. They're incompatible. Other than that, it's pretty much the same gun. Of course, my 2009, I've also purchased a real mag catch, but Inokatsu's, you have to have the Inokatsu mag catch in order for the magazine, for the bolt stop to work properly. Otherwise, it'll work, but just not as well as the Inokatsu mag catch. And on top of that, with the real one, if you look at the mag catch right here, it goes all the way across. With the real one, there's a small little gap right over there. But in the Inokatsu factory mag catches, they are completely solid. However, another thing is that it's not flush. Like on the real AR-15s, these are flush. Well, on the real M4, it's flush. And let's see what else do I have over here. Of course, when I was saying earlier that Inokatsu's factory, this is a factory 2011. As you can see, does not work. Carries out a little bit, does not push it forward. So factory does not come installed. Or they don't have a functioning forward assist, as opposed to 2009. 2009. You see how it moves forward and it's pushed forward. So that works on the 2009. Big difference? No, not really. But since I have a 2011, I should probably get rid of my 2009. Anyways, thank you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.